everyone, I am Ajna Stephen from Chemistry Department. If we look around, we can see so many things with different sizes, shapes and textures. Everything in this universe is made of different materials, and these different materials are named as matter by scientists. So in this session, we will be discussing more about matter in our surroundings. Now let us see what a matter is. The food we eat, the air we breathe, the clothes we wear, stones, even a drop of water is matter. All these things occupy space and have some mass. How can we define matter now? Matter is defined as everything which occupies space and has mass. Matter can also be defined as everything which has mass and volume. Since ages, people are trying to understand more about our surroundings. Then Indian philosophers have classified matter on the basis of 5 basic elements. They are known as Panchatattva. What are they? Fire, air, sky, water and earth. According to them, both living and non-living things are made of these 5 elements. Then Greek philosophers have also came up with a classification which is similar to this. Now, modern scientists have classified matter on the basis of 2 things. What are they? Physical properties and chemical properties. In this session, we are going to discuss more about physical properties of matter. What do you mean by physical property? Physical properties are the properties which can be observed and measured directly, like color, odor, melting point, boiling point, etc. For quite a long time, there were 2 schools of thoughts regarding the physical nature of matter. One group of people believed that matter is continuous like a wooden block, and the other group of people believed that matter is made of particles like sand. So there was a confusion whether matter is continuous or particulate. What do you think? Is matter continuous or particulate? We can answer this question with the help of an activity. In this activity, we are adding sugar to water. We can take a beaker, fill water in that, mark the level of water, add a spoon of sugar in that, stir it well till it dissolves. What can we observe now? What happened to the sugar particles? Is there any change in the water level? To answer all these questions, we need to use the concept that matter is made of particles. Then the sugar particles are in between the water particles. That is why the level of water is not increasing. Now we can answer our previous question. Is matter continuous or particulate? Yes, it is particulate. Matter is made of particles. We have one more activity here. Dilution of potassium permanganate solution. Take 5 beakers. Fill 100 ml of water in the first beaker. Take 2 crystals of potassium permanganate and add it in the first beaker. Stir it well. Okay, now we have prepared 100 ml potassium permanganate solution. What is the color of potassium permanganate solution? It is pink or purple, right? Now, what we have to do is take 10 ml of this potassium permanganate solution and add it to 90 ml fresh water which is taken in the second beaker. Stir it well. Again we got 100 ml potassium permanganate solution. Now, again we have to take 10 ml of this potassium permanganate solution and we have to add it to 90 ml fresh water which is there in the third beaker. In this way, we have to prepare 5 potassium permanganate solutions. What we can observe here? All the solutions in these 5 beakers are colored. But there is difference in color, right? This 2 crystals of potassium permanganate could color a large volume of water. How is it possible? We can say that each potassium permanganate crystal contains millions of potassium permanganate particles, which will be dividing themselves into smaller and smaller particles. So we can say that particles of matter are very small. These small potassium permanganate particles are there in all the 5 beakers. That is why all the 5 solutions are colored. But the number of potassium permanganate particles are reducing from first beaker to 5th beaker. That is why the color fades. You can try the similar activity in your home by taking 2 ml of Dettol instead of potassium permanganate crystals. You can take different containers and perform the activity in the similar way. You will be able to sense the smell of Dettol even on several dilution. From these activities, we can conclude that matter is made of particles and the particles of matter are very small. Now we can discuss about the characteristics of particles of matter. As we have seen in the first activity of mixing sugar in water, when we prepare tea or coffee, the particles of tea powder will be in between the milk particles. So from this we can say that particles of one kind will be occupying the space between the particles of other kind. Now we can conclude that there are space in between the particles. Now you have to imagine a situation. Take an unlit incense stick. Try to sense the smell of it from a distance. How close you need to go near to it so as to get the smell? You should take it on your hand, right? Then you have to bring it near your nose. Then only you can sense the aroma of incense stick. Now light the incense stick and keep it in one corner of your home. What happens after some time? Do you get the smell when you are at a distance? Yes, we will be getting the smell all over the room, right? Now let us see another activity. Here we have 2 beakers. Fill water in both the beakers. We should add 1 drop of blue ink in the first beaker. Then we have to add 1 drop of honey in the second beaker. What will happen? Wait for 10 minutes and observe what is happening. We can see that blue ink has mixed with water, but honey does not mix well in water. Actually, you can do this activity in your home. Take a glass of water, put a drop of honey in that. You have to find out how many hours or days will it take to spread completely. We can see one more activity here. We have to take 2 empty beakers, fill hot water in the first one and fill cold water in the second one. We need to add 1 spoon of copper sulfate crystal in both the beakers. We should not stir these solutions. We should keep them undisturbed. What will happen as time passes? In which beaker copper sulfate will take less time to dissolve? Copper sulfate took less time to dissolve in hot water compared to cold water. So, does the rate of dissolution changes with the change in temperature? Yes, it will change. From all these activities, we can say that the particles of matter are moving continuously. So, which is the energy which is associated with the movement of a body? It is kinetic energy. As temperature increases, the particles of matter will be moving fastly, so that the kinetic energy will also increase. In all these activities, we have seen that intermixing of different particles by their own is happening. This intermixing of 2 different types of particles by their own is known as diffusion. We can understand more about diffusion from these activities. In the first activity, we could sense the smell of incense stick from far apart when it was lit, and it was difficult to smell incense stick when it was unlit. From this, what can we say? Diffusion is more for gaseous particles and it is less for solids. We can say that diffusion is less for solids when we compare it with liquids and gases. In the second activity, we could see that diffusion was different for honey and blue ink. From this, we can say that diffusion is different for different substances. In the third activity, we could see that diffusion was faster in hot water. So here we can say that on heating, rate of diffusion increases. What may be the reason? As temperature increases, kinetic energy will be increases. If kinetic energy is increasing, intermixing of particles will be easier, so that diffusion will be faster. If your mom is preparing food from kitchen, you will be able to sense the smell, right? But not of cold food. What may be the reason? We know that as temperature increases, diffusion will be faster, so that we will be able to sense the smell of hot food. Consider that we have three groups of people. The first group are holding each other by their back like Idumishpi dancers. And the second group forms a human chain by holding their hands. And the third group forms a chain by just touching their fingertips. If I am trying to break these chains, which one will be the easiest to break? Which one will be difficult to break? Here we can consider these three groups as three different materials. And each of the member of this group as particles of matter. Now in the first group, people were connected strongly. So it was difficult to break them. In the same way, we can say that if particles are connected strongly or attracted strongly, it is difficult to break them. And if it is connected in a weak way, it is easy to break them. Now we can see one more activity here. Take a chalk piece, a rubber band and an iron nail. Try to break them by hammering, cutting or stretching. Which one was easiest to break? Which one was difficult to break? Yes, iron nail was difficult to break and chalk piece was easiest to break. Now we can take water in a vessel. Take a knife also. Try to cut the water surface. Can you do it? Or you can open a tap. Water will be flowing. Try to cut the stream of water. Can you do it? No, it's not possible because the water particles are attracted with a force. These three activities suggest that particles of matter have a force between them. This force keeps the particles together, and the strength of the force will be varying from one kind to another. In the activity of breaking human chain, we have seen that it was difficult to break the first group and it was easy to break the last group. Here we can say that the force of attraction between the particles of the last group was weak compared to first and second group. In the activity of iron nail, rubber band and chalk piece, we have seen that it was easy to break the chalk piece. Here we can say that the force of attraction between the chalk particles are very less compared to rubber band and iron nail. In the activity of cutting water surface, we have seen that it was impossible to cut the water surface. Here we can say that the force of attraction between the water particles are stronger. Now we can conclude the characteristics of particles of matter. What is the first one? The particles of matter have space in between them. The second one was particles of matter are moving continuously. And the third one is particles of matter attract each other. Now let us consider a situation where a diver can cut through the water surface very easily and it's impossible to cut through a floor or wall. What do you think is the reason? We will be discussing about this in the coming session, and that's all for today's session. I hope everything is clear to you. Thank you.